Welcome. So we are going to be talking about metric to metric conversions. And so this is very critical because we have prefixes a lot in the metric system. Now, you want to use this phrase. I know it sounds silly, but bear with me. King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk. So you want to remember that. Now, each letter, the first letter of each word stands for the prefix. So the prefix for K is kilo, hecto, deca. The unit doesn't have a prefix. And then you have deci and centi and milli. All right? So we abbreviate those. K, for example, is kilo. C is centi. And M is milli. Those are the most common ones in chemistry. Okay? Now, you will need to learn micro, which is 1/1,000,000th, nano, which is 1/1000,000th, mega, which is 1,000,000, and angstroms, which is 10 to the minus 10. We'll learn those later when we talk about, get into those subjects, okay? So let me show you how this works. Now, the metric system is really cool because it's based off of powers of 10. The English system, you know, you have 2 pints in a quart, for example, and then you have 4 quarts in a gallon, and then what's bigger than that? Maybe a bushel or something. So it's very confusing in the English system, but in the metric system, every single thing is based on powers of 10, okay? There's no fourths or halves or anything. There's 1/10th, 100th, 1,000th, or 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, for example. Now, let's talk about the meter. Now, the meter, as we learned, is abbreviated small m, and this means that it has no prefix. It's just the unit, okay? So if you put a decameter in there, then the abbreviation is DAM. That's used in the measure of lakes and river volumes. It might show up if you're going into environmental science or meteorology, for example. Hectometer is HM. Kilometer, we are very familiar with. We don't pronounce it kilometer, but basically that's what it is, kilometer, okay? So those are larger units. A kilometer is 1,000 meters. A hectometer is 100 meters, and a decameter is 10 meters, okay? Now for smaller units, we have decimeter, okay? We have centimeter, which we're familiar with. It's about the length of your maybe thickness of your thumb or so. And a millimeter is a fraction of that. So a decimeter is 1/10th of a meter. A centimeter is 1/100th of a meter, and a millimeter is 1,000th of a meter. And so it's really easy to remember all of these things if you just remember King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk. So for example, these are the types of conversions we want to do. How many centimeters is 10.2 kilometers? Let's say you run the 10K and you want to brag to your friend that you ran a gazillion centimeters. So how many centimeters is that, okay? So what you want to pretend like you're doing is singing karaoke, okay? You have like a little bouncing ball, and you're watching a video, and the ball is moving from word to word, and you have the microphone, and you're singing along, okay? And here we are at kilometer, which is the capital K, all right? And we want to go centi, which is way over here, all right? So what you do is you move the bouncing ball in purple here. So you start singing the song, okay? King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate. And you stop there. And you count how many times you moved, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And now what you do is you take the 10.2, all right? And we want to move the ball in the number, which we, of course, call the decimal place. And we want to move that 5 places. So we are going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and stop here. So it's going to end up right here. And then we fill in those spaces with zeros, okay? Now, of course, we know a number can only have 1 decimal place, so let's clean this up a little bit. So the final answer is going to be 102, 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the units are going to be centimeters, okay? Please don't ever put commas in the class. It's optional if you want to put a decimal place at the end of this. We'll go ahead and put just decimal place at the very end. but that's 1 million, okay? So if you ran the 10K race, you could tell your friend, hey, I ran 1,000,000 centimeters. Let's do another problem. Here we have 30 grams, and we want to know how many kilograms that is. Now, first of all, the number 30 does not have a decimal place, so you're going to need to add a decimal place at the end if there's one missing, all right? So there we are, 30 point. Now, G does not have a prefix. It's just one single letter. So the other thing you need to remember is that if you don't have a prefix, that means you're just at the unit. And kilo is over here. We want to go to kilograms. Okay? So here we're going to need to sing the song backwards. Usually, doesn't, Henry, King, and stop there. We're moving the decimal place 3 to the left. So we're going to take the 30 with the decimal place, and we're going to move this 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to place the decimal place there. Now we fill in those spaces with zeros. I'll do it in a different color here. And it's very critical for me to emphasize this. In science, mathematical sciences, engineering, physics, chemistry, you always put a leading zero. That is to say, we place a 0 right before the decimal place if it's hanging there in space. And that's to draw our attention to it. And there's also reasons for alphabetization and things like that, okay? And spacing and type font and graphical tables and things like that. So let's write 0.030. And let's write the final units here that we're trying to express. That's kilograms. Okay? So 30 grams is 0.030 kilograms. Let's do another one. Now here's volume. Okay, volume we do it the same way. So we have milliliters. So remember, milli is abbreviated by the small m here, which is milk. So that's milli. All right, I'm going to just write milliliters over here. Okay, and what about liters? Well, liters does not have a prefix, so that's just the unit. Okay, so again, we're going to have to sing the song backwards. And we're going to go from milli. Let's draw a little bouncing ball here. Milli, chocolate, drink, usually, and stop. So we're moving the decimal place 3 to the left. So let's take our 13.0. And let's move the decimal place 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3. It's going to be right here. And let's fill in the spaces with zeros. Okay, zeros are basically a placeholder for the decimal place. And then we want to put a 0 in front of that leading 0. Okay? Now, of course, a number can only have one decimal place, so let's clean this up. Let's write 0.0130, and let's write the final units there for the answer, capital L. Okay? I don't want to show you any more extra practice because I think you've got this. You just move the decimal place to the right or left the number of times you need to do it. Oftentimes, it's going to be from grams to kilograms or vice versa, milliliters to liters or vice versa, and possibly millimeters to centimeters. Okay? Thanks for watching. I hope this video helps you out. Please like, please subscribe. Have a great day.